Welcome to the Diary of a Pan-African Preacher. The Ba-Congo people have a proverb that says, "A kind person is the one who is kind to strangers." As conflicts, climate change, and political instability continue to uproot lives across the globe, Africa has emerged as one of the continents most affected by forced displacement. Yet, even as it shoulders this growing humanitarian burden, some Western nations are attempting to offload their own refugee responsibilities onto African states, raising profound ethical and geopolitical questions. By mid-2024, Africa was home to tens of millions of forcibly displaced people. In the East and Central Africa alone, over 5.4 million refugees and 18.8 million internally displaced persons were recorded. West and Central Africa added a further 12.7 million, including 2.9 million refugees and 8.2 million IDPs. And as conflicts in the Sudan and the Democratic Republic of the Congo and the Sahel region intensifies, these staggering numbers continue to increase. They come with grappling with poverty, weak infrastructure, and limited access to humanitarian resources. Despite this, several Western countries are now proposing or implementing controversial offshoring policies that would see asylum seekers sent to African countries for processing or permanent relocation. The UK's high-profile deal with Rwanda, reaffirmed in 2024, aims to transfer asylum seekers arriving in Britain to Rwanda, where their claims would be assessed, and if successful, they would be resettled, not in the UK, but in Eswatini, Uganda, or Rwanda. Denmark has also explored similar arrangements, and the European Union has struck agreements with North African countries like Libya and Tunisia to intercept migrants before they reach European shores. These policies are marketed as pragmatic solutions to irregular migration and a way to deter dangerous journeys across the Mediterranean or English Channel. However, critics do argue that this also represents a serious abdication of moral responsibility by some of the world's wealthiest nations. Let me say that again. By some of the world's wealthiest nations. So instead of investing in fair and humane asylum systems at home, these governments are shifting the burden onto countries that are already overwhelmed by displacement. Human rights groups have condemned the practice as unethical and legally questionable, pointing to the poor conditions and limited legal protections in some host countries. Others have labeled it neo-colonial, a rich world paying poor nations to deal with problems it no longer wishes to confront. Let us not forget that many patterns of contemporary immigration are rooted in colonial histories, which shaped the movement of people, the structure of economies, and the ties between countries. But migration today is also driven by a wider set of global forces that extend beyond the colonial legacy. while global displacement has reached historic heights of over 123 million people forcibly displaced in 2024, the international response remains unequal. Africa already hosts the millions is now being asked to absorb even more, not through solidarity, but through transactional deals. The result is a deeply imbalanced system where responsibility is exported and vulnerability is imported, raising urgent questions about justice, fairness, and the future of global asylum. Ashe.